Hey, what's going on, everybody? Welcome back to another video of our series, Off-Season Moves, where we try and tell you guys about every single NFL team and what they should do in the offseason. Today, we're talking about a very, very up-and-coming team with youth players, the Cincinnati Bengals. In today's video, we're going to be talking about some players that they should let go that are either free agents of theirs or players they should cut, free agents within their roster that they should re-sign, and as well as some regular players from other teams that are free agents that they should bring in. Obviously, we will talk about the draft. If you guys are new into our Giants video, we did not do that. We have decided to merge the two series we were planning on doing, where we would do the draft targets for each team as a separate series and as well this one, but now we have combined that, so we're doing everything that the Bengals should do in the offseason. That will be for every single team for the rest of the series. And let's get into the video. Already, the Bengals have $45.5 million in cap, according to Sport Rack. Talk about some players that they should let go. Number one, AJ Green, their receiver, who's been such a good receiver, one of the better ones throughout the decade. Obviously, he will go. He was not good this season. He's an older guy. Really no production last year with a young and upcoming core in Boyd as well as Higgins. You have Mix in there. Jonah Williams on the offensive line. Obviously, your new quarterback, Burrow, who should be back next year. Just the age he's at and the kind of the way he's playing right now doesn't fit this young team. And then obviously Higgins and Boyd are the future of this receiving core as well. The pick they have in the draft can be utilized to go towards a receiver. I don't think that they will re-sign AJ Green. Number two, someone who people are saying another player that they should release. Some people say they should re-sign, but I'm not a big fan of it, is Josh Bynes, their linebacker, just short of, I think, about 100 tackles this year. He's 32. They drafted linebackers last year in Akeem Davis-Gaither as well as Logan Wilson. And I don't think he's a key to this defense that they should re-sign. I think more of the players they should re-sign, which we will get into. Draft capital, I mean, again, they could take Parsons, they could take Jeremiah Wosu. Obviously, they have a second-round pick as well. I don't have them taking him, but Matt Milano as well is on the market. So there's some good players that they can address to be their future linebackers. So now let's get into re-signings. Number one, we're going to sign William Jackson to a 3-year, $36 million deal. Again, just to let you guys know, the money might not completely add up. I've done my research, so it should, but again, don't get mad in the comments down below. I love William Jackson. I think he's a good role player for them, and I think the problem with him is consistency. With a lot of players you see around the league is what type of player are you going to get out of Jackson? Will he be that consistent lockdown guy? If we're paying him the money, obviously Trey Waynes is getting paid as he is coming off a pec injury, so they can make a great duo, assuming William Jackson's consistent. And then again, they have an early pick, so they could address corner there. Maybe it's Surtain, maybe it's Farley, and they have their three guys for the future. Obviously, Trey Waynes was the big guy. I believe they signed to a 3-year, upwards of $30 million deal last year from the Vikings. That was their big splash. Signing William Jackson should be a priority. I think he's a good guy, and I think he deserves that money. Again, I think he can be a consistent player for this team. The second re-signing, we have the defensive lineman, Lawson. We're thinking a 3-year, $8 million deal, so not in no ways a lot of money. Again, this might be a little bit too much. I did research on what he was valued at. Another good role player on this defensive line, was good last year. Obviously, with Atkins coming back, they can have a formidable D-line. We have them letting go of their defensive tackle, Covington, so I think Lawson's that better option instead of re-signing Covington. I think Lawson's he's good at run stopping and he's good at pressure. A small deal won't cost them as much in long term if he does not end up performing, and it's just that role player that's not doing much throughout the season. Lawson would be a great re-signing. As I said, 3-year, $8 million deal. The next signing will be the offensive lineman, I believe offensive guard, Alex Redmond, to a 2-year, $5 million deal. Yes, this Bengals line was bad, and he wasn't one of the better ones on the line. I'd be like, the only good offensive lineman they basically have is Jonah Williams. Here's the thing. He's out of UCLA. He's 26 years old, so it's eye-opening. I think if you sign him to a small deal, $2.5 million a year, only give him $5 million over 2 years, I think it gives him time to grow. Obviously, he's 26. You have him until he's 28. Signing him on a short-term contract gives you depth if he's not that starting guy you want. You have a ton of cap space. You can go out and get offensive linemen in the free agency, or you can go into the draft. And as well, it can always be a backup or a role player, and I don't think he's the worst player. I think it's just for depth-wise, Redmond, with the money they have, I think on a small year deal, makes sense. Let's now get into probably the most interesting part, free agent signings. Now, this is my favorite part, especially with a team that has a lot of cap space. Free agent signings is something where you can go crazy and sign the players. As well, I'll keep it more realistic, but I have two players, big players, I think they should sign. Number one, Patriots offensive lineman, offensive guard, Joe Thuney, 3-year, $40 million deal. Big deal. I'm going to say that, and there's going to text that pops up on the screen. Joe Burrow needs protection. The Bengals had an awful offensive line this year. Obviously, that was the reason Joe Burrow had that ACL injury. If you saw the injury against the Redskins, it was awful, you know, I don't even want to talk about it, but it was a very, very bad injury. Going to the season, if you want Burrow to be your franchise guy, you need to protect him. Thuney is a great, great offensive lineman. Still, I believe he's 28, so he has time. You sign him to that 3-year deal. You have him until he's 31, where he will most likely start to regress, as we've seen from a lot of offensive linemen like Solder and obviously Zeitler. Just reminding you guys from our Giants video. So then at that point, you can cut him, assuming on what his cap hit is. Again, with a young, talented quarterback with a high ceiling, splashing on an offensive lineman must be a priority this offseason, if not fill that in the draft. And I think Thuney, as I said, fills that guard role. If Redmond's not your guy, Thuney can be plugged in there. So again, Thuney, 3-year, $40 million deal. Now, number 2, and I don't think a player a lot of people are talking about. Obviously, you have Bynes leaving, and I think they need a good edge rusher, whether that be defensive end or outside linebacker. I've gone with outside linebacker, and they steal Bud Dupree from the Steelers for 4 years, $75 million deal. Very, very big deal. I believe he's 27. But just to let you guys know, this may bring the Bengals over the cap hit a tiny bit. I'm not sure. Don't hate on me in the comments down below. But Dupree gives the Bengals that edge that they've been lacking for so long. Obviously, last year, they didn't really have an identity in the defensive line. And their leading sack totalist only had 5.5 sacks. I believe it was Lawson. Taking him away from a division rival in the most competitive division in the NFL. The Steelers, obviously, they have a great pass rush. TJ Watt, you obviously have Hayward to it. I think if you take Dupree, someone who had a season-ending injury, and I don't know if they will resign, obviously with JJ Watt coming into the market, you know, the Steelers could, you know, let Dupree go. Again, if you want a ton of money, this will be a very, very big splash for them, but I think it'll definitely be worth it. I really like Dupree. I like the way he's able to get to the quarterback, cause havoc, get force fumbles, something we saw with Hassan Reddick, who I had the Giants signing. Obviously, Dupree is a step up. Dupree is in his prime right now at 27. I believe he's 27. That's why I signed him to 4 years until he's 31. And I think they need a game changer on that defense, someone who can make 2-3 plays and just, you know, change the outcome of a game. And I think Dupree will certainly fill that role. Now let's get on to the 2021 NFL draft, the new segment, each draft pick. So we're going to talk about their 5th pick. Obviously they have, we're going to talk about options for that. Their 37th pick as well. So pick 5, I have 2 options. Number 1, ideally is Penei Sewell, the offensive tackle out of Oregon. You get Thuney, you have Jonah Williams, you get Penei Sewell, and you have your pass protection for the at least the three years with Thuney. Again, absolutely dominant tackle, and I think it's such a big deal since he will be on a rookie contract. You're not paying him money of a tackle that is, you know, a great tackle. If he's great at the second level, great at run blocking as well. It's a benefit for Bernard and Mixon. Again, with the potential signing in Thuney, you have that protection for Burrow that he needs to succeed and reach that ceiling of his. It's a bit of a reach just because there's a very, very likely chance he will be gone. Think if he's here and the Bengals don't take him. I mean, Bengals, I don't know what you're doing. It has to be Sewell if he falls to the 5th overall pick. But again, he could be going at 4, he could be going at 3, he could be going at 2. So really he's anywhere within that range. So it's definitely a tough pick, but I think he has to be the pick if he falls. Let's go on to the second option for that 5th overall pick. We're going Patrick Surtain, the cover corner out of Alabama, true cover corner guy. Again, if you don't decide to re-sign Jackson, then Surtain can be that guy for the future. I think he can shadow receivers very, very well. We've seen him in college. You know, obviously college is not the best level in terms of defensive gameplay, but I really do like the way Surtain is able to cover guys, and he has very, very good technique. Wayne and Jackson being inconsistent, not knowing if they will perform at a high level, Surtain can be your number 1 guy for the future. And again, you obviously have Von Bell, who you signed last year, and it's a very good defense. I will say this over and over again. In the most competitive league in the NFL, you need everything, and Surtain locks of that defense. Think about it. You have Dupree, Atkins, Waynes, Jackson, and now Surtain, and that team will be incredible. And I think he's definitely much more likely to follow the Bengals at 5. Again, Jamar Chase, I do not have them taking. I don't know if receivers in need there, although I do love Jamar Chase. You match him up with Burrow, and I don't think that's out of the picture. I just personally don't think he will go to there. All right, let's get on to their 2nd round pick. They have the 37th overall pick. Let's get on to the first player. We have 2 players that they could target. Number 1, Rondale Moore, the slot receiver, the speedy guy out of Purdue. Boyd is a very good slot receiver, and Rondale Moore is kind of a adjustable guy around the offense, a great slot/second receiver. Complement Higgins and Boyd's very well. He has that speed to take off the top of the defense, and you have Higgins and Boyd underneath. Skipping on Chase at 5, You're probably going to want to go receiver. I think that it's a need. You have 3 great receivers, a great quarterback. Now that offensive line that you've drafted as well as gotten off free agency. And this is just the weapons they will have with Rondale Moore will be incredible. Jamar Chase as well will be great. Rondale Moore, if he falls to 37, is a great pick. On to our second pick. Now, this is, again, another reach. This is assuming they do not get Penei Sewell at that 5 spot, whether they go Chase or Surtain. And I think Liam Eichenberg will be the pick here out of Notre Dame, the offensive tackle. I've seen how good Notre Dame offensive linemen have been in Quentin Nelson. Guard isn't as much of a need here with the Thuney pick because it's more likely that Vera Tucker or Wyatt Davis will have fallen here, and they're the 2 top guards in the class. I think Wyatt Davis will definitely have fallen here. And Eichenberg is NFL ready and a very lengthy left tackle, which, as I said, if Sewell's not there. So now you have Thuney, Eichenberg, and Jonah Williams. And again, I mean, you need to protect Burrow. And if Sewell's not there, I don't think an offensive lineman wouldn't reach at 5. Maybe they go Slater again. I think there's a lot of possibilities there, but very, very good at unleashing power at the point of attack. Can open gaps for Mixon as well as Bernard. And he has ideal size at 6'6" and 305 pounds. So he's that big run stopping guy. Very, very good in run heavy schemes, which I think the Bengals, again, it's not as much of a run heavy, but I think with Mixon, someone who's shown so much promise when he can get blocking, they may kind of veer towards that type of offensive scheme. I know, again, they have great receivers in Burrow, but I think that's adjustable. But thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you did enjoy the video. We will keep pumping out these offseason moves. You guys, about 100 views on the Giants one. We have a Jets one coming. It may have already been posted. And I genuinely make sure to comment down below, what are the Bengals going to do in offseason? What are the Bengals going to do in the draft? As well, check out all of our content. We're coming out with so much offseason content. So if you are new, hit that like button, hit the subscribe, as well as the bell notification. I know you hear that from all of your YouTubers, but genuinely, if you were a YouTuber, so when people subscribe in videos, it's just makes you feel so good. So really help us get to 1,400 if you are new and made it to the end. Thank you guys so much for watching. We'll see you in the next video. Make sure to check out our socials, link down below, our Instagram, our podcast, and our website. We post articles. We as well post podcasts, not that much, but you can check out some of our older ones. More offseason content to come. Thank you guys so much for watching. To all of our supporters that can stay with us, we're going to keep pumping out content. We'll see you in the next one.